Good morning, everybody. How we doing? What's that? Who's live? Oh, it's me. Just got a notification that United People's TV is live. I know, lads. I'm live. It's Friday. How are we doing? We're here ahead of the Chelsea game tonight, which absolutely no United fan cares about, and I don't think any player cares about, and I'm really not looking forward to it. Just being honest with you. Just being honest. All right. Going to run through the team news from Amorim, what he said ahead of the game. What's that in my pocket? It's my wallet. Set the hood up properly. I've been a little bit busy because United just decided to announce that certain Bruno Fernandes is our Sir Matt Busby Player of the Year. The announcement came out literally 2 minutes ago. I'm going to run through that announcement. We're going to run through the team news. Going to speak about Rashford and 40 million. Going to speak about Bruno's interview with TNT Sports. Going to run through the Chelsea starting 11 at the end of the show. Should be a busy show, I think. To wrap up what is a busy week, and then next week, all focuses on Bilbao. Well, Spurs in Bilbao. We've already beaten Bilbao. 7-1. 7-1 on aggregate we Bilbao. You remember that? Jeez. Let's see who's here. From the usual suspects to new faces. Good morning to you, Carl. Good morning to you, Josh. Nice to see you back. Stephanie, you're here as always. And Alex, lots of mods here, keeping it nice and civil in the chat. Thank you very much, as you do every single day. We've got Akash. We've got Pepin. I'm going to call you Peppy. Teresa, good morning to you. We've got Matthias, Abdullah. We've got David. Oh, look, some new names. James Wilson, which always gives me PTSD seeing your name. Stu Cantona, and a couple of non-members. We've got Stuart Willits, good morning to you. And Elvius Cambius. It's a cool name, Elvius Cambius. Right, should we get on with the show? As always, please do fire in your... Oh, there it is. Sweet. The picture's out. Come on. Where is that? Please do fire in your comments, as always. But let's start off with the most important news. The most important news that the weather has changed in Bilbao. Jonathan, you're leaving for Bilbao today? Today? Bastard. You're going for like a full week. That's not fair. Someone's got work to do. Anyway, the important update is the Met Office has now changed it. So Wednesday is looking sunny. Right? I see sun. I see 20% chance of rain. It's better odds than it was last time. I know that's why you tuned in. Thank you for the show. I'll see you on Monday. It's probably going to change to rain again. But yeah, we all know that there's not going to be an awards ceremony this season. I do feel for the ladies' team who have qualified for the Champions League. They've had a decent season. They're in the FA Cup final, of course, as well. But it seems like a sort of one-size-fits-all policy when it comes to cancelling the awards. And some awards have already gone out. So yesterday, Tyler Fredrickson was named the Denzel Haroun Under-21s Player of the Season. Wasn't really somebody who I had down as to make the next debut from the academy. Kind of caught us a little bit by surprise. Was a really impressive debut from him. I think away at Brentford, United's youngers struggled, as we knew they would. But still, congratulations to him breaking into the first-team environment at Manchester United. Let's see what happens in pre-season and what about his position next season. And the same goes for Harry Amas, who won the Jimmy Murphy Under-18s Player of the Season. He's had a pretty whirlwind couple of years, really. Last season, he joined from Watford, went into under-18s, and they won the treble. And then this season, was it Harry Mas went on pre-season? Remember that? Really impressed. Then didn't really get any minutes under Ten Hag. And then Amorim came in, and then he came into the first-team environment. You're thinking, when's Amas going to come through? And then he's made 4 Premier League appearances since. I think we'll see him start tonight. So congratulations to Harry Amas. And then we've just got the announcement here that's happened. Bruno Fernandes has been named the Sir Matt Busby Player of the Year. And that's him with the trophy again. How many times has Bruno won this now? 3? Sir Matt Busby Player of the Year winners. Sir Matt Busby Player of the Year winners. Is it 3 times? 4 times. He's surely won it the most. Let's have a quick look down here. Congratulations to Bruno. I'm really interested to know if this is the most that anyone's ever won it at the club. There's Bruno. So Bruno, in 4 out of the last 6 years, has been named our Player of the Season. Who else is down here? Got Ronaldo winning it once there. Dave won it 4 times. Man, we were crap. No, I love Dave, but no offense. If your goalkeeper is your player of the year in 4 out of 5 years, and you're like, well, bloody hell, we're not doing much right, are we? And no, we weren't really. He won it 4 times. Valencia won it twice in 2 different positions, didn't he? I swear he did. Well, have I just made that up? Well, I definitely did. He was only in there once. I thought he won it twice. Ronaldo won it 1, 2, 3 times. Rude won it twice. Keane a couple of times. 4 times, by the looks of it. 4 times. That's mad, isn't it? Did Ronaldo win it 4 times? Have I just missed one? Oh, yeah, he won it down here as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 3 players who have won it 4 times. Thank you very much. I forgot that Ronaldo won it down here. 4 times. Anyway, congrats to Bruno. All right, it was an absolute certainty that he was going to win that this season. And I'll be totally honest, Bruno's form in the first half of the season was whiffy. It was, wasn't it? Just like everybody. But I'd say probably since February-ish. And it might even be, I don't know whether the timelines exactly match up, but it feels like since Roy Keane decided to try and publicly dig him out, Bruno Fernandes has been just on a captain's level. That's the way I would describe. Chaotic down there saying Bruno for 5 next year. I wouldn't put it past him. That's 4 times in the last 6 years that Bruno Fernandes has been our player of the season. And you wonder why I've got the energy to defend this bloke. Of course, the proof in the pudding for Manchester United is the trophies that we will win. I hope to see him replace that Sir Matt Busby trophy with the Europa League trophy next Wednesday. I hope next season that Europa League trophy gets replaced. Yeah, it's not going to happen, is it? Not next season. With the Premier League or the Champions League. It's not really going to happen, is it? Bruno's kept Keno quiet simply through performances, which is exactly what you want from your team, from your teammates, from your captains. Can't ignore his attacking output during the second half of the season. Yeah, Bruno, 2 halves of the season is probably what I would describe it as. First half, Bruno was as inconsistent and as up and down as Manchester United were. In the second half of the season, I think Bruno's kind of he's just been 7 to 8 out of 10, and then sometimes 10 out of 10s, but 7 out of 10 pretty much every game. Pretty much. Of course, there will be games and there'll be moments and there'll be opportunities that are missed, and Bruno's not perfect, but just like someone else Godflow, great name. I'll always defend Bruno in my life. I will always jump into any argument 2-footed to defend Bruno Fernandes. That's been the case with me for a long time, and it will continue to be the case. I might even do a lunchtime video on him today. I mean, why not? Next year, maybe Cunha's play. Well, hold on. When was the last time? This is a curious question. I don't know if I can even read it here. When was the last time a United player won Player of the Season in their first season? Was it Bruno? That's when he joined, wasn't it? 2019? Sorry, I've got an itchy neck. Was that the year that Ronaldo rejoined as well? So technically, that was his first season. I don't know. Oh yeah, Van Persie. That's how you win it. That's how you win that in your first season, by winning the bloody title and scoring 30-odd goals. Oh, jeez. Akash, I don't know why you're coming down here. There you go, look. Someone's actually noticed that as well. Players who have won the award 4 times. Bruno, De Gea, and Ronaldo. Jeez, look at that. You want to see a little couple of young Ronaldo and De Gea photos? Look at these. Oh, wrong thing. Look at that. Jeez. That is a young Ronaldo. What about a young Dave? A very young Dave, man. He was incredible, wasn't he? Those few years where he was almost like a spider in goal. As I said, I don't think it's a very good indictment of your football team if your goalkeeper's winning Player of the Year in 4 out of 5 years. But De Gea did his job. It's just other people weren't. That's his job. That's his job. Either way, congratulations to Bruno Fernandes, who, just by a happy coincidence, is the only player that Gary Neville will put into a combined team to start in the Europa League final on Wednesday. Every other player he'd choose from Spurs. So I did my reaction video to that yesterday. I wanted to comment on it. And I think this is a perfect follow-on from that. As an interview, if you want to, go and check it out on TNT Sports. It's a little sit-down with Bruno and Owen Hargreaves just ahead of the final. I imagine this will be repeated on the build-up to the final on Wednesday night if you're watching it on TNT Sports. Or Discovery Plus. God knows where you're actually watching anymore. And just this comment here, because he's shown a sort of supportive message from Rio. And fingers crossed that Rio's all right, because I saw that he was in hospital, I think, with a sickness or an illness. I don't actually know the exact circumstances. But this is what Bruno said about that. Bruno said, look, it's very special for us to get messages and support from you legends. Everyone here looks up to you guys. And so for us, it's very special to have support from you guys. And that comment there is exactly what irked me about Gary Neville's comments there. Like, and this is my position, right? And just kind of how I operate, A, as a fan, but B, with the platform that we've got here. Now, I don't always mince my words. Like, I remember the title about Onana after Lyon was Leave Onana in France, because that was when it's sort of the straw that broke the camel's back for me. So I'm always consciously aware when I try and dig other people out about it, because I myself criticise players and I myself do that in public. But I'm not a former captain of Manchester United with how many appearances? That's how many appearances he's had. And ahead of the Europa League final, you said you'd literally take every other player in the 11 from Spurs, who are lower than you in the league, apart from one player, your captain. And that said captain said, I was just, getting that supportive message from Rio. Yeah, man, that'll G us up a little bit. Like, even if you think that, Gary, like, it's not going to fucking help the team ahead of the final, is it? It won't. And that's what irks me about it. And just to see Bruno speaking about the influence that a positive message like that can have on the squad, I think it's quite sad there's not more of it, really. The game's free to air on ITV4, is it? Old school. Man, it's going to take me back. The Champions League on ITV was just a different gravy. It really, really was. Was it Clive Tilsley? John Champion? Was it John Champion? I think it was John Champion. Just everything about it was, everybody could watch it. Don't know. It just it felt like it had a different seasoning, is what I would describe it as. Yeah, apparently Neville doesn't rate Ahmad. I reckon he's just done that and gone, I completely forgot about Ahmad. I did my combined 11 yesterday. Probably should have spoken about De Ligt a little bit more. I was speaking about Maguire. Yeah, obviously when Euro signed as well, you remember that Rio energy there was there too. Gary's comments were out of context. Any player would probably play differently based to the players around. I mean, they weren't out of context. I sat there and watched it. Yeah, that Bruno interview is on the TNT channel, and you can go and watch it if you want. Either way, it's just good to see. Let's have a little quick conversation about some transfer news and chats before we move on to running through that Bruno interview in a bit more detail and Ruben Amorim's pre-Chelsea comments about the team, and then we run through the Chelsea starting 11. And Volpez is saying Gary Neville's not a red. He absolutely is a red. But he's become so focused on the business side of things that he's sort of buried the red. The Gary Neville that we knew is being taken over by the Stephen Bartlett version of Gary Neville. A very different Gary Neville, by the looks of it. This is from Marca. I think it's Marca. Out in Spain, and it's about Alvaro Carreras, or as we know him, Alvaro Fernandez. Now, this is not the first time that we've seen these links to Real Madrid, and maybe it's not going to be the last time we see these links. They're all suggesting that they want to sign Alvaro Carreras, that he's got a €50 million release clause. But United have got that. Look at that. An €18 million buy clause that releases at the end of this year. Either way, could well be that Man United get a good bit of wedge. I imagine, do we know, anyone in the chat, do we know whether we've got a sell-on clause with Alvaro? Blah, blah, blah. I didn't actually realise we signed him from Real Madrid. I don't know why I didn't remember that. Who else are they mentioning? Milos Kerkez is another one. Well, you're going to pay a lot more than that. Either way, it looks like Real Madrid are sniffing around. It's not the first time I've seen this link, and it probably won't be the last one. Alex is saying, I still don't understand why United don't just buy him back and then sell him. If I remember correctly, there's UEFA rules regarding how many clubs you can be registered to within a 12-month period. I think that might be the case. I'm not sure exactly. I know there's a limit on how many clubs you can actually play for. I also think there's one about who you can be registered for too. So I don't think United could do that. Otherwise, why wouldn't more clubs do it? Quite a few of you saying that you're sure that we do have a sell-on clause. I'd be surprised if we didn't have a sell-on clause, because he was cheap when we sold him. Definitely one to watch, right? Definitely one to watch. It might be that United get, we're talking about United making as much money as possible from the summer transfer window. Maybe something like that would be good. And you're saying 30%. I don't know where it is. I think it's a pretty decent sell-on clause for Alvaro. So as pissed off as we all might get if he does join Real Madrid and ends up being an incredible player, at the very least, United should get if hypothetically he was to join for the 50 million, could mean that United get, say it's 30%, that's 15 million euros. Say it's 50%, United get 25 million euros. Could well be a big, big boost to our summer transfer funds, as will the sale of Marcus Rashford. Pepin, I don't know why you're looking at a left wing back and talking about his goals and his assists first and foremost. That's not really what a left. Well, I suppose in the modern game it kind of is. It's so strange, isn't it? Like typically, your defender defends first and foremost, but they have to add so much more in the modern game. I really, really do think that the hardest position in modern football is a wing back. It has to be. It's the most unforgiving for mistakes, because if you make a mistake, it invariably leads directly to a goal. There's an expectation that you're in the attack on every attack, and you're constantly doing overlapping shuttle runs, and at the same time, you're also back as soon as the ball is lost. You've got to sprint as fast backwards as not literally backwards, as fast towards your own goal as you have to do going forward. The whole game. You have to be a monster athlete to be a proper modern fullback. Anyway. Marcus Rashford, right? Marcus Rashford. Let's see what the Telegraph... I think there was another little brief that happened yesterday, something from the Telegraph, something from the BBC as well, saying that Rashford can leave for 40 mil. We know why that... I'm guessing why that 40 mil price exists, because that's the price that United have got with Villa. If Villa want to sign him, that's the price for him. But apparently they don't have a first option. Rashford will be able to leave United for 40 million, but Aston Villa do not have a first refusal on the England forward. He's been re-energised. I mean, a bit. Villa can turn a deal into a permanent move if they so wish, but it is understood there is nothing in the loan agreement that gives them the first option on the player or to stop other clubs buying him at the same price. So that's where it's from. I really still stand by the fact that I don't see why Barca come in for... Could they come in for Rashford at 40? I just don't know. Any Barca fans in the comments? Where are Barca spending money this summer? Because surely there's just one place they don't need to spend money. They have been scoring goals like it's going out of fashion. Let's have a look at Barcelona's last few games. Barcelona results. And all season long they've been scoring goals like it's going out of fashion. Barcelona are champions. I don't care about that. Let me just look at the results. God damn. Last few games. Scored 2, scored 4, scored 3, scored 2, scored 3, scored 3, scored 1. Unbelievable. Scored 4, scored 1. Disgusting behaviour. Scored 1, 4, 1, 1, 4, 3, 4, 3. You get the point. I just don't really see why Barca want him for 40 mil. I just don't think that is going to be the smartest use of their money. Yeah, and I'll be honest. I don't think I would use the word sad to describe the Rashford situation. I think there is. You'll all remember maybe you don't. The video that we produced on the Rashford situation. I remember taking a long time to produce that with the team, the right time to drop it, because it's such a tricky and murky situation. I don't think I'd use the word sad. I think there's fault on both sides, but ultimately, it's not ending anywhere near how it should have ended. And there's still years left for Rashford at the top level, and it should all have been in a Manchester United shirt. Disappointment, a word there? I don't quite know. Either way, I'm looking forward to Rashford being sold, and I'm looking forward to Rashford not being in England. Barca scored 97 goals this season, geez. Well, there you go. That's my point. I don't think they're going to be in the market. Maybe they will be, but he's not going to get in the team ahead of Rafinha, is he? He's not going to get in the team ahead of Yamal, is he? Or Torres, really. Or whoever else they play wide. That's nuts. Yeah, of course, Akash. As I said, when it comes to, and people love doing this, people just love to like point the finger in one direction and go, oh, that's where all the blame is. The truth is, the club are involved. There is nobody who is responsibility free when it comes to the whole Rashford situation and the way it's gone down. But ultimately, I think a lot of choices he's made have been incorrect. Same goes for some choices that the club has made, including giving him the contract that we did. Let's move on to a player who is here and a player who should be going nowhere, and I hope he's going nowhere, no matter what happens from Saudi this summer. Right, Bruno? I've got to quickly show you this little clip, right? Hopefully they don't shut me down for this, for sharing their video. It's so strange, man. A quick comment here, right? Oh, look, the best patty. Amount of times I get stuck in these videos now. Algorithm's got me. Knows, and it just needs to show me delicious food. Now I'm gonna watch it. I hope that over the next, let's call it a couple of years, maybe. I don't quite know. When it comes to being able to use footage and use like interviews, I've always taken a bit of a risk on the channel with the productions videos because I'm repurposing it into a mini documentary, not just simply representing what it is. But I hope that over the next couple of years, football creators are able to use more of these sorts of interviews, of match footage. Like the NBA, for example, if I was an NBA creator, I was out in America, I could use all the match footage and I could create new content off the back of it. And it actually serves the NBA better because then more people see it. And the product of the NBA gets seen to more people. That's what I think I hope the Premier League will do over the next couple of years, and that content creators like myself are able to make better content as a consequence. And instead of it being considered like theft or stealing, no, it's just repurposing it and actually bringing more eyeballs to the same thing. That's just something I want to say. Anyway, I'm going to play a few second clip here. This is Bruno, and then someone pops up.
Well, I just want to wish you all the best for the final. I know how much it means. You got a supporter there.
I hope you can do something in the final for us.
Ahmad just pops down. Little round of applause from Ahmad. What guy? Ahmad's going to score the winner. You heard it here first. Now, I'm just putting out this. I'll leave this quote on screen. You can read through it, right? And I spoke about this in the pod this morning. It's just Bruno speaking about how at Manchester United, you don't have to have like the most like incredible legacy at the club to be remembered. Even moments get remembered. Ahmad there, he created a moment last season with the FA Cup semi-final against Liverpool. That'll be a game and a moment that everyone remembers. of course, the players that are remembered the most are the ones that do lift the trophies, that do create legacies around silverware from those memories, right? And I mentioned, say, look, the Gary Pallister still, like, if you go into the hospitality section at United, you'll see Gary Pallister most weeks. You'll see Dennis Irwin. You'll see Brian Robson going around the world. You'll see Wes Brown. You'll see all the players who have had success and committed, like, their professional, not all their professional career, but they committed themselves to United and created a legacy that can last beyond just when you're a football player. That's what United players can do. And it's something I've always felt should be the driving force for any of these players. And you know what? I actually think this is one of the driving forces behind Ruben Amorim. To go from a little segue there to this man, I genuinely think that Ruben Amorim looks at United and obviously he feels that he has the capability of doing with United what he did with Sporting. Went there, turned the club around, first title in 20 years. He's like cemented a legacy there. Forever. And he feels that he can do the same at United and he wants that. And that is what should drive all United players, man. For the fact that they could be creating a career-defining legacy if they succeed at United. It doesn't really... I remember Diogo Dalot saying it in an interview once. And I'm like, that should be it. That should be repeated and repeated and repeated more and more and more. Just don't get it. Don't get it. Don't get it enough. Bruno's such a great player with that fire in him. It's exactly what we need, says Pepe. And look, and this is, I thought, was a nice comment as well. And I remember when Bruno got made captain, I said, what I would like to see from Bruno is like a maturity of his game. And by that, I mean, we know over the last few, like Bruno's been our player of the year in 4 out of the last 6 years, right? So we know how good Bruno is. And probably over the course of his time in a United shirt, the best of Bruno has come when United are playing like at blistering speed, transitional football, balls over the top, great goals. It's not really about controlling a game of football. I think something that we're seeing from Bruno playing deeper, and that's why I keep finding myself chopping and changing between what sort of midfielder do I think we want. Because there is a way, I think you probably have to replace Ugarte if this was to work, where Bruno does play deeper, and then you probably have that deep ball progressor alongside him. Now, you might say that midfield wouldn't be good enough in the tackle and good enough out of possession. That would be, it's a tough one to find. But I found Bruno this season has slowed the game down far more than he ever has. And I think that's coming from Ruben Amorim. I think that's coming from the conversations they are having. And the fact that he's trying to make this United team actually genuinely control a game of football. It isn't always about getting it from the defence to the attack as quickly as possible. Sometimes it is. Sometimes the balls over the top will lead directly to chances. But I've enjoyed watching that little bit of a development in Bruno's game, is what I would call. Maturity, you can't call it that. It's a development. I think Amorim's been a big part of that. Some dads are saying Bruno's grown up over the last 3 years. I think I've seen more this season than I have in the two prior to that. And yeah, it's made me question what I think is Bruno's best position, because I've always said that I want Bruno as close to the goal as possible. Truth be told, the reason we need Bruno as close to the goal as possible is because I'm not getting goals from anywhere else, man. Like, we're starved. No goals from the wings. No goals from the number 10 roles. No goals from up front. Because we need Bruno. That's kind of why you need him as close to the goal as possible. If you improve that next season, then you might be able to allow Bruno to dictate a bit more from deep. I still don't like Bruno receiving the ball from his defence, though. And that's the thing about Bruno playing deep. I don't want him to be the person who receives the ball under pressure facing his own goal. That's not a strength of Bruno's game. It won't ever be. In that sense, he's always quick round a corner, blah, blah, blah. Michael Carrick type. Yeah, Zubimendi again. It may well be a perfect style of midfielder. It feels like a Zubimendi type signing is probably the one that will make the most visible dink to United when you're watching them. That person who always makes himself available to receive the ball centrally from his defenders and from the goalkeeper, and will always find a teammate with his pass. No matter how much pressure, he can always just play his way around it. Like Mazraoui's very good at that, but he's not a sort of central midfielder, is he? Anyway, just waxing lyrical. Waxing lyrical? Just speaking about the development of Bruno. Odds on Bruno scores in the final? Don't know. I'm not really... Ederson doesn't really strike me as... From what I've seen of Ederson, doesn't really strike me as a player who's going to receive the ball first from his centre-backs. He strikes me as a player... I'm not saying he's Fred, but I'm saying he looks like he's more comfortable in the opposition's half rather than receiving the ball facing his own goal. I need to watch more of him before. I might end up doing a video on him because, you never know. Cobby, again. Boy, you saw his debut against Everton. I'm so confused now about Cobby in this system. I don't think he's perfectly suited to the style of the number 10 that is in Amorim's system. Like if you were playing a 4-2-3-1, you've got two wingers and then you've got one number 10 in front of two central midfielders. That's the sort of perfect Cobby number 10 role. Whereas in the Amorim number 10 system, those two number 10s are going to have to be like athletic demons. They're going to have to properly run and cover a load of ground and a lot of ball carrying and a lot of ball progression through dribbling. Well, we're going to run through all this transfer stuff towards the end of the season. We've still got, one more important game and then two more ridiculously inconvenient ones. Let's speak about Chelsea tonight, right? This is what Amorim said. And this is an indication of what we should expect tonight, right? He said, if there's a player that can get an injury or be at risk of a final, then he's not going to play against Chelsea. But other than that, it's not that situation. We have a lot of time to recover and we cannot spend 8 or 9 days without a game. That is a bad thing for the final. And this is just where opinions disagree and there's a decision you can make as a manager which could go down one path and go down another path. One path is wrap all your players in cotton wool, make sure they've got no injuries. Sure. Then are they going to be 100% sharp for the game, having not played in 8 or 9 days? And that's the other side. You play those players, you risk it a little bit, but at least they'll have that sharpness, that match sharpness in their legs ready for the final. And it seems like Amorim is going for the risk of playing players rather than wrapping them up in cotton wool. Although saying that, and we spoke about this yesterday, if there is a player that is at risk for the final, they can get an injury, they won't play. Those players for me are Ahmad. I think we spoke about this, didn't we? Ahmad, Mazraoui, Maguire, and maybe Casemiro. Or maybe Casemiro gets like 20, 30 minutes, or maybe a little bit. I don't really know. But it's probably those four, I would say. So we're going to run through the start 11. We can do it all together because I haven't made one because, I'll be honest, like no one cares. No one cares about tonight. Right? No one cares. This is what Ruben said about the actual start 11. Let's see if I can get the volume right this time. He's remembered.
I know already the starting 11 that I'm thinking for Chelsea. Then I will see. Even the way we play there against Chelsea, I will see it, and it's going to be important for the next one.
So players have still got the chance to make the final, yes, even if they're not in your mind now in that Chelsea game.
That is clear.
Why have we got to play Chelsea? Stamford Bridge. Context is they've got 3 games left this season. If they win 2, they get into the Champions League. So this is their season. They've got a conference final. They're like, well, it doesn't really matter, does it? You win that, you're in the Europa League. Oh, fantastic news. Their season is the Premier League and the 3 games left. Let me see what you're saying down here in the comments. Jonathan is saying he's right. That Champions League game we lost. We had too much time after winning the league, if I remember correctly. Huh? Oh, you're taking that back. Troy saying he's right. If not at risk of injury, they should play. From a performance standpoint, it's more risk not playing. You're going to get people disagreeing. Like the Euro injury, for example. There's going to be people saying, well, hold on here. Why didn't he just not play Yoro? It's his fault that he got injured. But then if you didn't play Yoro then, and then what, you just left Yoro out for Chelsea, then it would have meant that Yoro hadn't played a game of football for like 17 days, 16, 17 days ahead of the final. You'd probably see him pull up with a pinged hamstring in the final. Somebody who should be in the squad tonight, which is a boost, is Aiden Heaven. Well, he's travelled anyway. Of course, he's been missing for a good while. But with Yoro, Yoro didn't train. I think he was doing some individual work in the gym at Carrington. I'm not expecting Yoro to be fit for the final. And Martinez is already out. So, we need left-sided defenders. Aiden Heaven, if he can get... I mean, I don't think he'll start. Probably start Fredrickson again. But if Heaven can get 20, even 30 minutes under his belt, then it puts him in a position where he may well be part of the squad. And as you can see, his forehead is significantly smaller there. Mate, he must want to punch Ahmad in the face so often. Ahmad's just like that little wind-up brother. That's the energy that I get from Ahmad, but in a good way. He's a wind-up younger brother who's just like ridiculously talented. So you're like, deal with it. You're a pest, but you're seriously good in football. So I'll let it go. Did Obi not travel? I don't know what the full travelling squad was. Did they release that? Let's have a look. I don't actually know what the travelling squad. Sometimes there are players that get missed from travelling squads anyway. Right. Let's move on to the Chelsea starting 11. But I want to tell you one thing here, right? Let me see if I can pull this up. You need to watch out for me on TV, right? That's what everyone's got to do. I'll tell you where my seat is. I don't know which end it is, but I'm going to be sat around about there. You can see where the goal is. It is absolutely big up to Bal. Everyone's a little round of applause for Bal for sorting the tickets for everyone. I'm in row 8, either there or down here, right behind the goal. So when United win it, they're going to come and jump in and celebrate with me. Can't wait. I feel like a kid. I really do. It's my first ever European final for United. I've seen United in League Cup final. Have I seen them in an FA Cup final? I'm not sure I've seen them in an FA Cup final. Either way, I'm dead looking forward to it. So you're going to have to look out for me. If anyone can send a picture in of me, we'll sort out some free merch or something. That'll be fun. Now, let's speak about the absolute inconvenience that is tonight. Do you reckon the players are all doing this as well? I mean, they won't actually say it in public. They might just say it to each other. Go, I can't be bothered. To be fair, that's kind of how we've played in the Premier League for a long old time. Now, who do you think is going to start tonight? I don't know what team this is. I don't think this is actually a starting 11 that we played last week. But I don't think Ahmad starts. So Ahmad, we can go down here. I don't think Ahmad starts. I don't think Mazraoui gets risked. Yoro obviously is injured, so he's going to go down here. De Ligt, as far as we know, is injured. Xerxes still injured. Who else is down there? Collier. Delo might be fit for the final. We don't quite know. I think Collier might be fit now. Let's bring him up then. Who's in your starting 11? Get it in the comments, and I'll look through the chat in a sec. Who else am I definitely resting? Personally, I've run out of room here, so Casemiro's going to have to go down here. I'm resting Casemiro as well. And I'm resting Maguire. I think that feels quite easy. Lindelof there. I think Amas starts. I think you probably will see Dorgu start. I don't think he's at risk of injury. I think Amas would go there. Fredrickson. Could you say Luke Shaw's at risk of an injury? I mean, Luke Shaw's always at bloody risk of an injury. That's the way the cookie crumbles. That feels about right. I think Ugarte you'll probably see start. Ericsson will come in. Bruno's a freak, so Bruno doesn't count. Maybe. Might see a bit of that. What do you think about that as a starting 11? Does that work? Everyone's going in the comments talking about Mantato. Well, Mantato's down there. Hasn't made his debut yet. Camerson may well also be in the squad. I think he might have travelled. Someone saying Mainu and Ugarte in midfield. I mean, it's Luke Shaw. There's no, I suppose everybody, if anyone's going to be at risk of getting injured for the final, it's Luke Shaw. Because he's just at risk of doing anything. Be honest, when you think about that, can he really take that risk? Who else are you going to start there? Say Luke Shaw doesn't start here, right? Who else are you starting? Are you going to do something weird like that? That's a possibility. It's a possibility. Brian, you're not a big fan of that midfield. Someone saying rest Shaw. Mason Mount, I suppose Mason Mount. Does Mason Mount's not really, doesn't really have too much of an injury risk now, does he? Oh, don't rightly, no. He'll probably want to start against Chelsea as well, won't he? I think that's a good point. Maybe you'd see a bit of that. It's all fun doing starting 11s together. Bit of that instead. Binder in goal. I don't really think there's any need to rest him here. Cheeto starts. He might. Let's have a look. Evans. I don't think Evans will start. I've got no idea what the starting 11 is going to be tonight. I really, really don't. But you know, Chelsea are going to be bang up for it. Simon, you think Kobe, Eriksson, and Ugarte will start? Well, I've got Kobe and Ugarte. Quite a few of you are saying Cheeto. I think you'll probably see 45 minutes for Højlund. I think so. Swap Maynard and Bruno. That's possible. That's possible. I think that's that's not what you're going to see. I think you'll definitely see Ugarte and Casemiro as United's starting central midfield pairing against Spurs, and you'll see Bruno further forward. Let's just go with that. Right, let's just go with that. That's the starting 11. Maguire, Fredrickson, and Lindelof, with Amas and Dorgu as wing-backs, Bruno and Ugarte in central midfield, Mainu and Mount behind Højlund. I've got no idea. I really don't know what to expect tonight. That's a lie. I know exactly what to expect tonight. I expect United to get absolutely pumped. My prediction, if I'm being honest, is 3-1 Chelsea. What's everyone's predictions? Fire it in the chat. Let me see what we get in the poll. We'll do a quick 5-minute poll at the end of the show. Result tonight. And it's not because I'm being all pessimistic and negative. That's just a reality. Look at us in the league. Look at what we got on Wednesday. This team, when they haven't got anything to play for, have shown us this season how different they are. Simon, you want Collier to get minutes. Mikey, you're asking, what about Evans? Like, we've just seen Evans come back in training. So, I mean, you could play him. In theory, you could play him. Ahmad will start to get match fitness. I don't think Ahmad needs the match fitness. I think he started the other week, didn't he? Did Ahmad start against West Ham? I can't remember now. Who am I backing to get our goal? Ooh, Mason Mount. Come on, man. There's a chance that Mason Mount starts the final, you know. It's actually going to be quite hard to choose United's, which might sound a bit weird considering how just like little goals we've scored. But if you've got Casemiro and Ugarte in midfield, you're probably going to start with Mount and Bruno behind Højlund, and then you've got Garnacho coming off the bench, which has typically been, I would say, his best. Not that I'm saying he's best on the bench, but his better performances have come when he's playing against tired legs. Could well be that Garnacho coming on as a sub is a big impact for United. Ball draw, says Tony. 3-0 Chelsea. Heaven and Collier to get some minutes as subs. I agree on that. I do have Cheeto down here as injured. I don't think... No, I had Cheeto down here as unavailable because it was the Europa League. That's why. So Cheeto should be available down here. Oh. Load. And Delo, I don't think will be available, but might be available for the final. Heaven, go over there. I've got OCD. OCD. Gonna set everything up correctly. Ahmed and Cheetah. Right, let's see what the poll's saying. I think 3-1 to Chelsea. 250 votes are in, and 44% are saying Chelsea. 32% are saying a draw, and 24% are saying United win. I'll take a draw. I'll take a little cheeky United win. It'd be lovely. An unexpected win tonight would be like, yeah, nice. I enjoyed that. Good. Just don't get A, injured, or B, steamrolled. Both of those two things are a bad way to go into the game on Wednesday. 300 votes. 43% of you are saying Chelsea win. I think you're probably right. You're probably right, but let's find out. And I'll tell you what, ladies and gents, we all know what day it is, and we all know what it means. It's Friday, so it's map day. Like a map trumpet. Right, let me know where you're watching from, the city and the country. We'll get 3 or 4 of you added onto the map. The most recent points, they're not recent. They are alphabetical order. Date created descending. Is that right? I think so. Luxembourg, Macedonia, Australia, Scotland, Sweden, Norway, Ireland, USA, Finland. Reds around the world. Love this shit. Sam, you're watching from Las Palmas in Gran Canaria. Man, it must be a cool place to have a football club, man. I mean, I know, did they get relegated? I think they got relegated. Well, I thought they were going to get relegated. We've got Meneer watching from Enschede in Netherlands. Have I been there? Don't think I have. Welcome aboard, sir or madam. Don't quite know. Let's get one more. We have got Neil watching from Tandragi in Norland. Added onto the map. Ladies and gents, thank you very much, as always, for being part of what I would consider, I'm a bit biased, but it's definitely right, the best United community in the world. I can't explain to you all the plans I've got behind the scenes, but there is so much happening to bring more and more stuff to this community, and you're all going to be excited for it when it comes out. But I promise you stuff's happening behind the scenes. Right in front of our face, we've got Chelsea tonight. I'll be here with a match reaction. I'm trying to think. I might do a video on Bruno at lunchtime today, but I might not. I'm always consciously aware on the channel that I don't want to do videos for the sake of having to do a video. It's like, I honestly don't know how, I know different strokes for different folks, but I have no idea how the United Stand does 3 full-hour live shows a day. It's like, what do you talk about? How? It's not even possible. If you got me to try and do it for a week, I'd be like, my God, I'm exhausted. There is not enough conversation to be repeating things all day. So I think I might leave it for lunchtime today, and then we'll be back this evening with a match reaction. And then, of course, we'll have the 5 things we learned coming out tomorrow, and then the build-up begins. And then Monday, so make sure you join that Monday show, because Monday is the only live next week. Well, that's a lie. There'll be a live on Friday. But I won't be here on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. But I might. I'm trying to think of whether I can do it. I'd love to be able to do a live from Bilbao on Thursday. Or maybe Wednesday. Haven't quite decided. Obviously, it wouldn't be anything like this. It'll be a lot less production. But it could be cool. All right? I might do that. So we'll figure it out. So keep an eye out for that. Much love, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in. I think tonight, 3-1 Chelsea. I hope I'm wrong. Let's find it out. All right? Take it easy, everyone. Have a cracking weekend.